Hello, is it audible?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll be having an second session. So, this session will be delivered by Selvin D'Souza. He is an application engineer in VR Coatings Private Limited. So, we are very thankful to VR Coatings for allowing us to organize this industrial workshop for the second year students, and they will be giving us the certificates for the students whosoever is attending these industrial sessions workshop, plus completing their hands-on activity. So today he will be talking on entrepreneurship for mechanical engineers. So without much ado, I'll request Selvan D'Souza sir to start with his session.
Sir, I have one request. Is it okay
Yeah.
if I ask a question that the students can put on their mics and maybe give answers so I know that it's going on?
That will create an problem for the bandwidth.
All
Um,
right, all right, all right, not a
You can
problem.
put it on the chat window, and you can ask. They will reply there.
So I cannot really see the chat window. So if there are answers or queries during the session, could you please read it out to me?
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you can start your session.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I am Sylvan. I work as an application engineer in VR Coatings. Richard Menezes, our design head, gave you a lecture on Monday, if I'm not wrong, on how to select different materials. So I'm from the same organization. VR Coatings also happens to be the family-run business for us. So we are really by trade businessmen. Now, I really wanted to inculcate entrepreneurship into the young minds. So I decided to go with this topic for entrepreneurship for mechanical engineers. All right. So when we hear this word entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, what does it really mean? So it basically comes down to anyone who takes a financial risk to run a business or start a business is an entrepreneur. It could be the guy who sells vada pav in a stall where he has invested money and he is running a process to create more money. And this whole process that he is doing is also known as entrepreneurship. From the vada pav guy who runs a cart on the road to your banya shop to big industrialists like the Tatas, the Ambanis. It is all entrepreneurship. All right. So, what is it that makes an entrepreneur, and why should we be entrepreneurs? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being entrepreneurs? So, in Marathi or in Hindi, when we hear that someone from the family has started a business, we say in Marathi तो धंद्यात पडलाय, वो धंदे में गिरा है. But is that so? Is that really so that the person has fallen into being a businessman? The person actually rises. It is the entrepreneurs that really run our nation. We may assume that the politicians run, yes, they play a vital role, but the entrepreneurs are those people who are creating revenue, who are generating revenue, who are the taxpayers to our country. Of course, foreign investments also pay tax, but entrepreneurs are our people who create jobs. So after you finish your engineering, a lot of people come and ask, Ki, sir, what skill should I acquire to get a job? Why do you want a job? What is the real, uh, what is your real need of getting a job? And when I ask people this, the first thing they say is that we need money, that we need to run our families, and we need to run our lives. But if you are an entrepreneur and you start your own business, you also do earn money. Only thing that you answer again saying that we have no guarantee that this money will come. There is no security. Now, why do we think that our jobs are so secure? While we are all studying to be engineers right now, do you know there is someone else also studying how to throw people out? The guy is doing HR, human resource. There are ways that they are learning that is a subtle way of getting rid of people. So, if you are an entrepreneur, your position is more secure than someone who is working in a job. When you are working for someone else, your direct superior most of the times has the power to eliminate you. Whereas when you are an entrepreneur, you are are in charge of yourself. You are in charge of your own decisions. You are in charge of what you do and how you do it. You hold all the ropes. The reins are in your hands. So another thing is that some people are meant to be entrepreneurs and some people are meant to, do jobs. And equal respect to both the sides. I will give you an example that someone once told me, that a lion and a buffalo, there is a difference. The lion is a king of the jungle, all right, whereas the buffalo is someone who is driven by common man, who runs your fields. Now, if you were to replace the buffalo with the lion is not capable of doing the buffalo's job, and neither vice versa. You cannot replace the lion with the buffalo. The lion is the king of the jungle. He knows what to do, but the buffalo has to be told what is good for him and what is bad for him. So, what are the traits of being the lion, of being an entrepreneur? Number one, you have to be disciplined. Now, mind you, that all these traits are seen widely over different entrepreneurs that we experience. It does not mean that you have to have these traits to be an entrepreneur. As I said, anyone can be an entrepreneur. So, number one, you have to be disciplined. I don't really need to go down into the minute things of what discipline means. An entrepreneur shows confidence. He knows what he has to do. He knows what he needs to do that will make his business succeed, and he knows exactly which way to lead his people. An entrepreneur is always open-minded, so they are always looking at newer things, newer ideas. An entrepreneur is someone who goes with the fact that no idea at all is a bad idea. All ideas are great ideas. He's a self-starter. So that means that he's starting and he's leading the way. He knows which way to go and he will lead the way for other people as well. He's very competitive. So they know what it takes to win. An entrepreneur is someone who competes in the market continuously. The banya shop is competing with his neighboring banya shop. The vada pav guy is competing with another vada pav guy. And a very important thing is that an entrepreneur can take failure. You should never, failure is a stepping stone to success. You cannot stop if you fail. You have to get up and move forward. An entrepreneur is always creative. Now, in this session, that is entrepreneurship for engineers, we would like to bring out creativity into your minds. I will show you how, and show you how it takes that creativity really puts you out to being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is determined. Once you have found a solution to a particular problem, this determination comes automatically from within, on where you know exactly that you want to do it and you will do everything in your power to make it a success. They have very strong people skills. An entrepreneur knows his people, knows what his people can do. They understand what their customers want. They understand people in general. They have strong work ethic. That is, they will be in office before everyone else and they will be the last guy to leave the office. They are workaholics basically, and they are very, very passionate about what they do. So once we learn what creativity takes and how to be creative and how to come up with an idea, once you have the idea, you will automatically be passionate about your idea because it is your creation. So the best entrepreneurs of all time. So John Davidson Rockefeller is known to be the greatest or the wealthiest man in all time of history. He lived about 150 years back, and he basically dealt in oil. I'll come back to him in a bit. We all know Mr. Thomas Alva Edison. He's known as America's greatest inventor. We know that he is the inventor of the light bulb, but if you go and Google it, Mr. Thomas Edison has multiple inventions. The video camera is also one of his inventions. The carbon microphone is his invention. The telegraph is his invention. He also said that I have not failed. I know 10,000 ways that did not work on how to make that light bulb. Now, for mechanical engineering, in my opinion, the greatest entrepreneur for mechanical engineering is Henry Ford. Henry Ford was the founder of the Ford company, and back then, cars were made. If you look at the time period where he lived, was in the 1900s, the early 1900s. Back then, cars were made as a luxury product only for the rich people of society. So only the very, very wealthy people, the ministers, only they could afford cars. It's like owning a private jet in today's day. So what Henry Ford did was he started the idea of mass production. All right. And with mass production came his idea of Fordism, where he said that when you mass produce, you can reduce the cost for per production car and make cars affordable to all people. So the modern day world, the way we know it, a lot of credit goes to Mr. Henry Ford. Henry Ford was also a very good friend of Thomas Edison, who I just mentioned. And they used to go on a lot of road trips and stuff together. And they were great friends. So one thing that Henry Ford really wanted, had an idea to do, was he wanted the V8 engine. Now that is, the V type of engine mounting with 8 cylinders, four on the left, four on the right. I'm sure you guys being mechanical engineers understand what a V8 engine is. He wanted that the crankcase and cylinders, and all 8 cylinders, the casting should be in one single engine block. Alright, when he proposed this idea to his engineers, they told him, "You are out of your mind. भाई तू पागल है. ये हो ही नहीं सकता." As entrepreneurs, when you go out and tell your family and friends that this is what something you want to do, this is the first reaction you get. "कि तू पागल है. You are mad. You have lost it." And the moment someone tells you that, be sure that you are on the right path. So Ford said nothing doing. He put his foot down. He said, "I want it by hook or by crook." And eventually he got it done. He was the first guy to put a V8 engine in a single casting. So now how do we become an entrepreneur being engineers? So engineers are not, bred for business, but they end up being the best businessmen. Engineers end up becoming the CEOs of the companies. They end up being the leaders later on. So I would like to run you through a process called design thinking. Now, design thinking could I will only brief you in like maybe 5 minutes about it. But design thinking by itself could be a full course. So in design thinking, what we do is we take a problem. For example, let us assume that we want to create a toaster, and we look at the toaster from the consumer perspective. All right, we empathize with the customer. Ki what are the problems the customer faces with this particular product? So we try to understand ki is there a problem with something that already exists? In this case, especially being engineers, we want to come up with a better solution. Then define the problems that the customer has. We understand the product from the point of view of our customers, not from the point of view of a designer or an engineer, but from the user. And we define what the customer requires. So I suggest that you take an already existing product. You can take a car if you want. You can take anything to understand that as a consumer, what is it that really troubles me, and you define it. Then you create an idea and you discuss it with your neighbors, you discuss it with your colleagues, you discuss it with your friends, your professors. It is very important to ideate. That means you come up with an idea to solve the problems that you define, and you discuss these problems. You will get a lot of feedback, instant feedback, that maybe if you did this way, this that way, it would be a little different. After that, we create a prototype. We make a small prototype of maybe a total different material. So let's say if it was a car, instead of making the whole scale model because it's too expensive to produce, we create a small one in our college workshop and we test the prototype as per, is it solving the problems that we had defined, and is our customer happy. Now let's say there was some problem at one of these stages. Let's say in prototyping you realize that, oops, this is not really possible. There's always time to go back to ideate it. If you have, you can go back right to the beginning and start over again. Once you finish testing, you can go back and see that if you have a problem during testing, you can make changes to the prototype. Or if your testing problem has something to do with the definition, does not solve one of the definitions, you can go back and redefine and run through the process again. And then you implement your idea, make it a commercial model and commercialize it. All right. But now the biggest problem is on what to empathize on. There is something called a pain point. One second. There is something called a pain point. Lazy people tend to understand this pain point better than anybody else. All right. Now you see this picture of this guy. He is wrapped in wires for different charging. He's charging his laptop, he's charging his iPod, he's charging his mobile phone, he's eating at the same time. You can see a can of cola out there, and the sofa he's sitting on, if he keeps sitting in that way, his neck will start hurting for sure. So we face a lot of problems on a daily basis, but do not really understand them to be problems. Now take your mobile phone to start with. Right now, there are everything is a touchscreen. But back in the day, when we had black and white screens or black and yellow screens, we used to hold in sunlight. We used to hold our hand to create a shadow. Now this is a problem. This was seen as a problem, and someone outside Nokia developed a brighter screen that solved the problem. We never understand this to be a problem. All right, we learn to live with the problem and काम चला के लेने का, somehow get with it, get over it. If you take your TV remote, do you see a problem with your TV remote? I see a major problem that every time the battery goes, I have to wait till next day morning till the shop gets open and buy a battery. Now, of course, I could keep a battery in stock, but this is a problem. Can our TV remotes not just show us a light saying low battery, so I know in advance that I have to buy batteries? It can be done for the cost of nothing. So what I want you guys to do as engineers, identify problems that irritate you, identify those irritation factors to be problems. They are problems that can be engineered and that can be solved. All right. I am not asking you to reinvent the wheel. I'm asking you to solve smaller problems. For example, if we take food, you see Swiggy and Zomato, Uber Eats. These are all problem solvers. These apps are successes because they solve problems. All right. For example, switching on and switching off the light. When your dad or your mom asks you to do it, you are very irritated to do it. Nobody likes to, get up or listen to someone. They put on the light, then I have to get up and go and put on the light or put off the light. We get smart bulbs today, no doubt. But can we do something to change this basically? Now, let's say I came up with a new kind of switchboard that all my switches work in sync with my mobile phone. This is an idea, all right? You are already a user of most of your products. You are already empathizing being a user. And being a user, this empathy is what will really take you to coming up with a new idea so that you can start a business. As engineers, it is our job to solve problems. All right. And being a lazy person is a very good way to solve problems. If you had to ask the people living in Mr. Henry Ford's time on what do you want, the guy would have told you, I want a faster horse. He would never say, I want a car. So most of the people around us don't really know what the problem is because they are living with the problem. They don't even understand that there could be a possible solution to this. So you have to start looking at all irritation factors as problems, empathize with these problems, and then come up with viable solutions. All right. Now I will give you an example that I had in my personal life back in the day. So I wanted to solve the problem of waiting in line at the shopping mall. All right. And I was thinking of of a cheap way to do so. So I came up with the idea that if we have an RFID into everything, so an RFID code is a small chip that contains a certain amount of information. They're very cheap, and every product could have them. And whatever you put into your shopping cart, the guy at the counter would not need to sit and scan each item, which consumes most of the time, and he could move forward with it. So by the time I had this idea and I was solving it, Amazon already came out with it. And in America, they have a shop where you can just walk into the store and walk out with whatever you want. The scanner understands what all you have picked up and taken out, and your Amazon Pay account gets debited for it directly. Now, once you come up with a solution and a product, you've got to know who do I sell this to. I will give you another example shortly. But for this, you need to understand the Maslow's table. I don't know if you guys have studied it, but we'll just run through what the Maslow's table is. If you consider this pyramid and you see the lowest line, that is physiological, you see that breathing, food, clothing, shelter, sex, sleep, excretion are man's basic needs. This is something that all human beings have to do and is done broadly by the majority of the people. So the lowest, the wider the line is, that is the population that actually, does this activities. After that, once you have completed these basic needs of living, that in order to survive, you need to have all this, then humans tend to go forward to understanding, to having a job, morality, having a family, health, property. After they have completed that, then they go on to their friends, their extended family, intimacy, sexual intimacy, and so on. After that, humans start thinking about self-esteem, self-confidence, achievements. So you will be, and in the end it is called self-actualization, where creativity, lack of prejudice, problem solving are man's basic worries. So this is Maslow's way of dividing society and telling us that the lower classes of society, if you see the red and the orange colors, are people who need to have food, water, etc. Now everyone on top of that also needs these basic things, but most probably because they've already completed the lower levels, they have gone up to the higher levels. So Maslow also says that someone in the lowest category may not need to come in the red, may not need to complete orange and yellow to in order to go to the esteem category. Like a person in the slums may still want to have a higher self-esteem and show that he's a greater person. All right, but he is more worried about his food, clothing, and shelter, basically. Now, how does this come out into our products? Let's say I came up with a new kind of shoes that did not have laces and did not hurt, or I solved some problem that I'm facing with my shoes. Now I have to pitch the idea of the shoes. Who do I pitch it to? Do I pitch it to everybody? So is Nike made for everybody, or does Nike cater to, the green and the blue zones? When Bata first went to Africa, they sent a team. Bata is a is a European company, by the way. Swiss, I cannot remember exactly, but it's a European company. The team said, nobody here wears shoes. There is no market for shoes. After that, 10 years later, they sent another team to evaluate. That team said, nobody wears shoes, so everybody can buy shoes. Now, do you want everybody to be your customer, or are you looking at the top class? Do you want to make a Tata Nano for everyone, or do you want to make a Rolls Royce for some people? Is the question that really arises. So you can make money in both ways, all right? So you can be an entrepreneur for both segments. But where should I pitch my product is something that the Maslow's table can help you. I'll come back to this a little later. All right. Now, there is a book written by Peter Thiel. It's called Zero to One. Peter Thiel is the foundation of PayPal along with Elon Musk. He's also one of the partners in Facebook, very good friend of Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. And he says that when you are solving a problem, when you come up with a new product that does not exist in the market, which is our aim, all right, you go from zero to one. That means the invention of car is coming from zero to one. After that, multiple car companies started for going to different markets. But if you really want to be a problem solver as an engineer, all right, as an engineer, you have to go from zero to one. And he says that the next Bill Gates will not build an operating system. The next Larry Page or Sergey Brin, they are the founders of Google, they will not make a search engine. And the next Mark Zuckerberg won't create social network. That means these people, they think in such a way that it is they are looking to solving a problem that we do not understand exist. So we really need to understand what problems are around us, what are the pain points that we feel, and we have to come up with ways to solve them. As I said, we don't want to invent the wheel, but we can of course add on. There are multiple wheels a problem has faced. There are multiple inventions that have taken the wheel on. For example, Mr. Charles Goodyear was the sole inventor of vulcanized rubber, and only with vulcanized rubber was Mr. Dunlop, John Dunlop, able to create the first inflatable tire. All right, and these guys did not reinvent the wheel, but they were surely additions to the wheel that help us. They solved other problems. So, as I said, we are not looking forward to reinventing the wheel. Now, I of course spoke about, if I go back, I spoke about Mr. John Rockefeller, known to be the greatest entrepreneur of all times. But then in India, we have Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, who did more or less the same things that Mr. Rockefeller has done. He also worked in the oil industry, did backward integration. India has seen a number of great entrepreneurs. We saw about Henry Ford, but we also have Mr. Jamshedji Tata, who's the founder of Tata Group, is also known as the father of the Indian industry. And India has great potential because we have huge populations. We have a lot of different problems. Now, most of the problems are created, the most problem solvers, most machines are created by the West for the West. We have different pain points. For example, the European dishwashers that are sold in India do not really serve our purpose. Can we come up with a better way for cleaning dishes? Indians use a lot of masala, a lot of curry. Can we do something about it? The mixers that we use are also a European copy. Sumit mixers were the first that came out. But we always hear our mother complain, this mixer makes so much noise. or your dad complains that your mixer makes so much noise. Can we solve these problems? These are problems that exist for us in India, and we live in a very different lifestyle, a very different economy, a very different society of people. So we come with our own problems. Do we really depend on the West to solve our problems? Is the question I am asking today. So now once you have an idea, we've got prototypes made, we've got everything. The big question is, where do I get the money to fund my company? So the first thing, starting from right on the top, is your own pocket. That means you do something, you work in another company for 2 3 years, come up with the money, save it, and you find out how much money you need. Second thing is you ask your family and friends to help you a little bit with some money. After that, you can take a bank loan. Normally, banks would typically ask you to put down 20% of the amount. So that means if your company was a 10 lakh company, the bank would still tell you कि भाई 2 लाख आपने डालना है, फिर ही हम 8 लाख दे देंगे. So 20% funding you give, which you have to again depend on your own pocket or your family and friends, and 80% the bank will give you a loan. Right? After that, there is something called crowdfunding. Have you guys heard of Kickstarter? Is where you take your prototype, put it out online, and you show the world that this is my prototype, it solves this particular problem, and then people will give you an advance where you say that the first 100 I will sell at a cheaper price than my new the market rate. So I will, for your funding, I will give one of the first products to you for a lower price. Then there is something called angel investors. Now, angel investors are normally people who are already entrepreneurs and have made a lot of money in life, who are interested in helping other entrepreneurs come up in life. So if I had an idea, I go and show an angel investor that this is what I got. It is a very good thing to go to an angel investor. You can find very angel investors very easily online, because angel investors are people with good networks who understand your problems because they are already entrepreneurs, and they will help you, they will guide you through your initial days. So the first 1 2 years are a little tough. Angel investors will guide you. Something that is not in this, that is called a serial entrepreneur. How you have a serial killer, that someone who goes on killing. There's something called a serial entrepreneur. That means we come up with a product, we start it up, we sell the company to an angel investor, we make a bomb of money, and then we go and solve another problem, and we come up with a second product. So angel investors can also buy your idea and pay you for it. The intellectual property rights are plays great importance. That if you have a great idea, you should patent it maybe, and or uh, make sure that the angel investors are trustworthy people and will not just copy your idea, because these people already know how to start up. So whenever you have an idea, please discuss it with only close friends and maybe your professors, but make sure you discuss it as well, right? It's equally important to discuss it. Then there is something called customer advance. That means I solved a particular problem for a particular group of people. So I go to that group of people and tell them, for when I give you the switchboard. So let's say you come up with a new relay board system where you say that this is how it will be, and you want an anchor that, see, I have come up with this and it solves your problem. Maybe you buy it from me, and I will take an advance from you, advance payment, and I will create it very properly for you and I will sell it to you. All right. IP are second, the intellectual property, right? So you can sell the idea itself totally. Trade of equity services. So let's say you are a startup company and you want to want an office space. Your startup company is basically something to do with the IT services. So there are a lot of buildings that offer IT services, who offer office on rent. So you go and instead of paying you rent, I will trade my service. I will run your IT. You can sell that building, but I will run your IT. I will make your website, and you let me. I will pay you back in kind instead of paying you money. So you either tell the guys that a part of my company is yours. That means you invest in me. It's like angel investor, but a little different. Or you say that I will give you a service in exchange for whatever you are giving me. An incubator or an accelerator is something that colleges and companies together have. They are basically cells. I'm quite sure your college has one, which helps startups run. So let's say you had a great idea. You go to incubator. There are a lot of private incubators as well, where you say that you you have elderly people help they all fund it. They get you out on your feet and then you start. So these are the ways where you can find money for your startup. Now, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm doing engineering very good. But what are the other subjects that I would learn, that I need to know? So I think one important subject is finance. Management is very important. You need to know, especially, but you will learn a lot of management in your course itself. I think in your final year or third year. Finance is something that you should start picking up on. Is my personal recommendation to you. Finance and business law. You start with videos on YouTube. There's a lot of material out there on what the different ratios are, how to read the profit and loss statement, what is balance sheet, what is the cash flow statement. These are questions that will help you later on after you started. So this now we know how to be an entrepreneur, what it is to be an entrepreneur, and where you get the money from, how to come up with an idea. Share some of my experiences. So as I said, VR is a family and I'm part of it directly. So when I was in my second year of engineering, all right, I was friends with this girl from my school, and she was studying at dentist. And she told me that, Sylvan, what can you do as an engineer? So I got a friend kid. I was like, of course I can make you want. She's like, I can cure people. I can help them with their pain being a doctor. But what can you do? So I said, I can make anything on the planet. All right. Now, I told her that with a lot of overconfidence, not just confidence. And then she said, can you make me a Batman keychain? So I said, sure, why not? I was just learning the different processes of how you do castings. And I found a local guy who did castings, went to him. He told me it's not possible to make a Batman keychain in casting, and definitely not for a single piece. Forget about it. So now I had to prove this girl that I'm somebody. So then I went on and made a drawing on AutoCAD, and I laser cut a Batman keychain of the Batman logo. And I faced many problems. Like, for starters, my design was too big. So I just run you back through the slide um, of design thinking. My design being too big, I had to go back and recreate another one. So I reached testing and I had to go back, create a smaller one that fit in a pocket, that didn't scratch her, etc., etc. Now that I had made, and I gave it to her, she was very happy. But now that I made a Batman keychain, I was over enthusiastic to go on and make other things. So I made Green Lantern, Yamaha keychain, KTM keychain. That time KTM was new in the market, Bugatti, etc. And I went to a particular shop and I told him my cost that I incur is about 250 rupees per keychain. I will sell it to you for 300. You can sell it at whatever price you want. I really don't care. So that guy again told me, Bhai, tu pagal hai. Who buys a keychain for 500 rupees? People, keychains are sold at 10 rupees and 20 rupees. Very disheartedly, I came back home and I was very disappointed that my keychains do not sell. So then I went to Pimpri Market. If you are residents of Pimpri Chinchwad, if you are not residents of Pimpri Chinchwad, Pimpri Market is a wholesale market where electronic items are sold. And I met a dealer who's a dealer of keychains. So he showed me that he imports container loads of keychains at dirt cheap prices. We are talking about 100 rupees for 35, 40 keychains, and he sells them to the shopkeepers at unimaginable prices, and that nobody is going to buy my keychain at 500 rupees and 400 rupees per keychain. After which someone introduced me to the Massless label, where I learned that the keychains that I make are customized keychains for a particular use, and that my customers are not the everyday people who are buying keychains at 10 rupees and 20 rupees, but these esteemed customers, these self-actualization customers who want a particular thing. After which I started a page on Instagram. It's called Discuss, where I sold keychains made to order. If you want your name written with your girlfriend's name written, I can make you a keychain. If you want to tell your girlfriend, if you want your girlfriend's name written in a particular way, I can make you a keychain. I was selling keychains at prices like 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees, under urgency 3000 rupees also. For something that I could not sell at 500 rupees, the last of this line, that is discuss, is a very good example of how I used to sell very expensive keychains at unimaginable prices. Okay. The another startup that I recently am a part of is called Pulse of Learning. Pulse of Learning aims at education, online education of languages. So after I finished my engineering, I learned German for a year. Personal suggestion to each one of you: go out there and learn a language. It gives you, it's not just a skill, but also gives you perspective about another culture, and you can really open up your mind to how other people live, what their culture treats them. So I learned German. You can go out there and learn Japanese or anything. Um, and I had started some classes which I was making good money, but then once I started working full time with family in VR coatings, I could not really concentrate on it, but I still wanted to do something. So Pulse of Learning was a collaboration with Mr. Abhiraj Purandare, and again, we do not have the funds, so we didn't know where to get the money from. So some of his other students, we got together, and the way I said trade, equity, or service. So one of his students was a great social media marketer. Another student was a great computer engineer, could create a website for us. So without putting down a single rupee, just by trading services, all right, we started Pulse of Learning. You can go and check out our website, pulseoflearning.com, and see what we do out there. So, wrapping it up right now, I would like to know if you have any questions out here.
Yes. Uh, there is a question.
Yes, sir.
What are the best ways now at this stage to bring
Mhm.
good qualities in us?
So that is what I was saying, right? Right now, because of the coronavirus lockdown, you cannot leave your house. The best way is to teach yourself particular skills. So if you want to make money, there are two ways, all right? Number one is you become something, like you become an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, and you put in a certain number of hours where you get paid per hour. So either you increase your skill level, or you increase the number of hours you work, and you make money. So right now is a good time for you guys to, up your skill levels, like learn softwares, where 3D softwares, learn languages if possible, that help. So Germany hires, Japan hires, Japanese is a language in demand. These are countries that whose demographies are aging. Please, if you can, learn economics and learn finance. They are subjects that will not just help you with your careers, but also with your personal lives. Have I answered your question?
Okay. There is another question.
Mhm.
According to you, what is the responsibility of professional
What is the
entrepreneur?
responsibility of?
According to you, what is the
Mhm.
responsibility of a professional entrepreneur in this ongoing crisis?
So right now, as I said, it is the entrepreneurs that really run the country. And as the entrepreneurs are the people who are paying people salary, although no work is being done. The entrepreneurs are really running the country and are taking the beating for all the loss that would have been otherwise there. So the entrepreneurs have paid 2 months of salaries without complaining, just because the government has, like, we have actively listened to our government and cooperated with our governments, and we are continuing running the country right now. So during this crisis, it is only the entrepreneurs who are really, paying out of their pockets to keep the country going. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Have I answered that question? Did you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. We could be able to hear you. There is another question. What
Yeah.
are your views on multi-level marketing?
I don't really get the question. What do you mean by multi-level marketing?
Uh, I think there is a student, Saurabh.
Saurabh, can you please explain what do you mean by multi-level marketing?
Saurabh, you can put on your mic audio and then you can talk.
So, Saurabh, I'm still not very clear on what you mean by multi-level marketing, but there are two basic types of marketing. One is called B2B, it is called business to business marketing, and one is called B2C, that is business to customer, um to consumer marketing. In B2B, that is where two different companies, like Tata, let's say a company like Tata Motors is buying from Tata Steel. So these are two businesses that are interacting, and Tata Steel wants to sell their products to Volkswagen. They want to sell it to Mercedes. They want to sell it to everybody else as well. So that is B2B. And oh, you mean by Amway? So that is where you sell your. Uh, I still don't. My views about multi-level marketing. I still don't
Hello.
get your question, Saurabh.
Actually, he has posted one more thing, direct selling of the products. For
Uh-huh.
example, we can take like Amway.
So Amway is a direct consumer product. So if you see out, like, for these kind of products, in my opinion, Hindustan Unilever is the best example in India that you can have for business to consumer product. The suit sitting in HUL know the Banya's business better than the Banya understands the business himself. But for that, you really need to know operations. You really need to understand what products you're selling and who you are selling it to. I'll give you a very good example. Let's say you get up one morning and you see that my toothpaste is over. You normally are a person who buys Colgate toothpaste. So if you go to your closest shop, the shop closest to you, which may be an illegal tapri, and he says that, sir, Colgate nahi hai, Pepsodent hai, you will buy Pepsodent because you need toothpaste on that day. Now, Hindustan Unilever is a company where no matter what shop you go to, you are sure to find Hindustan Unilever products out there. So, in my view, with business to consumer, when it comes business to consumer sale, Hindustan Unilever is doing a fantastic job, and it is very critical that you understand your consumers' needs the way they understand it. That is empathy of products.
Okay.
Yes,
One more question. Social media is very much attracting youngsters.
oh yes. So
What would you and what suggestion would you give
So social media marketing is, you are right, Nilesh, right? Social media marketing plays a very important key. We have done social media marketing in multiple levels, from Pulsar Learning as well as from VR Coatings. Uh, Social media marketing understands the demographics of your customer and takes you straight to those end customers or end users. Um, a very good play platform is Instagram, where you can mark, where you can really set it down to the age groups, to the age groups uh, that really use your products, the professionals, even to the, you can select male and female demographics. But you need to really know the demographics of your customers to do social media marketing. Google AdWords or Google Businesses is also a very, very effective tool in marketing with when it comes to, it's not directly social media marketing, but it's online marketing, but it markets on social media platforms. So Google AdWords for a very low cost, like you can start from 1,000 rupees onward, I think even less than that, from 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees a month. You can go up to 44,000, 50,000 a month. Google AdWords is a fantastic way to get to your customers. And in today's day, where everyone uses a smartphone, social media marketing is, I think, the best option to go for when it comes to marketing.
Hello, Selvan. Can you
Yes,
see
yes,
the
I can
chat?
see. So, Praful is asking that during the crisis, the savings of middle class salary people will decrease and our expenses will increase. How does it affect our economy? So, Praful, the point that you make here saying your expenses increase, according to me, is actually the inverse. Our expenses have also reduced. We cannot buy a lot of things that we would have otherwise bought. Like if I want to buy clothes, I cannot possibly buy them right now. Right now, I can only purchase my essentials, which are my medicines and my food grains. I cannot even go for luxury food items like ham, salami, or exotic foods. I cannot go to exotic restaurants and eat exotic foods. That is a definite. It's a definite hit to our economy, and if we go for the middle class people, so if you take the lower middle class, all right, they are people who live from hand to mouth, especially these cab drivers, uh, people who earn on a daily wage basis. They are respectful earning people in our society, and they have taken a very bad direct hit. So it is a loss of our economy to a very high extent. If you follow the McKinsey reports, you can see exact numbers. I'm not very sure about the exact numbers. Now, as our PM announces the 20 lakh crore package, this package is basically offered to the small and medium scale industries and to the poorer people. So the lower middle class and the lower class of people have been, and they will definitely be strong benefits of the package. All the details of the package are not yet out completely, although our Honorable Finance Minister yesterday, Mrs. Sitaraman, has said a lot about it. On exactly how this money and through what networks it is going to come to which people is not yet very clear to me. So I cannot really comment on this 20 lakh crore package right now. But I think it will definitely help our economy. So all the MSMEs that need loans can get loans in a much easier way right now with the help of this 20 lakh crore package. That is for sure. See, Praful, right now we don't want to worry about the provident funds of the salaried person. Provident fund is meant to be a safe saving. That means if you, let's say, if you were to start a company, or forget a company, if you were to take a house loan and for some reason you cannot pay back that house loan, your provident fund is something that is a security that even if your bank accounts are frozen because you could not pay that house loan back, nobody can touch your provident fund. So right now it's okay if the provident funds are reduced. Our concentration from the economics point of view is that of life and not livelihood and not the economy. So if you consider America and India, America has still thought about their economy. They have put in consideration their economy over the life of their people. We all saw the dream of the West, right? But that isn't where life was given more importance. But apparently our government in India is doing a much better job at preserving our lives. uh, if you look at the numbers of COVID-19 patients, I think it is more important that we are alive than the amount of money that we have in our accounts. So it's okay to take a small hit on the amount of money we earn, or maybe no earnings at all, as long as we are alive. If we are not alive, there is that money has no value at all.
Puna sir, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, are there any more questions? I do not see anything on the chat.
Yeah. Konda sir, are you there? Okay. Then Selvan sir will stop here.
All right, not a problem.
Thank you, sir, for delivering a session on entrepreneurship for mechanical engineering.
I
So
hope it was useful and your students benefit from it. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of new companies emerge from this batch.
yeah, yeah, true, true. And just as beginning with your talk, let us have an hands-on session also for the students once we are ready with COVID,
Sure,
everything is
sir.
over.
I am
Then
looking
I
forward
can
to it.
have, yeah, there are many interested students who can come down there and on hands-on sessions can be done for them.
Sure, sure. We are looking forward to working with students for knowing ideas. If you guys have any ideas and need support, in creating prototypes in manufacturing them, please reach out to us. We are open to helping you, and we're looking forward to it as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your kind support. And let's see. Tomorrow there is again a session. If you could can attend that.
I will attend. I will attend.
He's our alumni of 2018 batch.
All right. Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much, sir, for the opportunity as well. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, dear students. So the session is over. Tomorrow we'll have a session. That timing I will convey you through your subject teachers. Thank you.